Dimitri, now is your turn. So if you like, say something.
Yes. Hello, everybody. It's an amazing pleasure to meet you all this end of September here in Sofia, Bulgaria, at a very unique drive-in conference, Java Edition. Very unique. I believe we were one of the first one to get this opportunity to make a conference in a drive-in cinema. I'm not sure if somebody in the world had ever tried it before, but we are pioneering this opportunity. Unfortunately, we are forced to do this by this COVID situation. But this is considered as a semi-life, I would say, because it's like you're in the car, you're isolated from each other, and that's why you are safe. And but we are still together, and for this unique opportunity, we are extremely happy to meet our fantastic guest, Adam Bean, who is going to give us a wonderful talk about front end and Java, which is quite an awesome combination. Adam, hello.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. So this is unusual conference. Dimitri asked me, can we invite you to Drive-in Conf? So sure, let's do it online live. And I say, okay, there can be technical difficulties, okay, but pre-recording is not honest and is boring. So what we are doing, I think, hopefully the first time in the history of Java conferences, das is live pre-recording with people, selected a group of people from all over the place. So we have people from Bucharest, we have people from South Africa, Greece, and Germany. So
Sophia,
it
of
should be
course, by the way.
Sofia, of course. And where I learned is still hot. So hopefully next week at the conference will be also hot as well. So what I plan to do today is to explain you why is the best time to start web developing as Java developer without any knowledge about web. So that's the point. This is the idea. And Dimitri will read the questions from the community. So it's going to be an interactive topic because we only have a half an hour. And if we can, everything which is unclear should be made clear after 30 minutes. So regardless what we talk today, I'm still a Java developer, and I really enjoy it. And a funny thing is, I was invited to a real JavaScript conference, and so I delivered, the talk, and I use all the time Duke as an example. So hello Duke and whatever. And the JavaScript people came to me and say, okay, the talk was somehow understandable, but who the hell is Duke? And I explained him, Duke is a Java mascot. He's like, yeah, but we are JavaScript conference. Like, yeah, but I'm Java developer. Sorry for that. So I've write a blog. It's a notepad. There are online courses if you're interested. They are exactly like this. And there is one. If you have any questions left, the first Monday of the month, EHXTV, you can ask me whatever you like, Java or web related. There's no registration, but I won't answer any questions technical questions via email because of time. Okay, there are some workshops end of the year, and why I'm showing you this, because they were planned for Airport Munich. They are cancelled and going to be delivered online. So cool story is you can register and take place online exactly like that. Sad story is it is not going to be at the Airport Munich. So now, and there are also online courses, and now start with what I would like to show you today. And I would like to talk about ES6 Plus. So whatever it comes, this is what I'm using in project. I would like to use CSS 3 Plus. So there is no more CSS 4. This is more like incremental development. And what I also would like to do is to talk about browser API and web components, and show you how to find information you need and how to start such a project. And what I don't like is magic. So there will be almost no magic. And the idea or why developers I work with like this approach is because they don't have nothing to install locally except some tools, but there is no transpilation, build processes, nothing is required anymore, which makes you very productive and is very similar to playing Java SE projects. Okay, so also as a motivation, this is Ask Me Anything with the SpaceX team. And as you see, someone here asked, mind-blowing. This is the Gununakuna, mind-blowing. You really broke some established patterns by choosing this technology. So this is like, the response to a presentation or a question answer show from the SpaceX team who created a dashboard for the rocket. Say, why you didn't choose, why you didn't consider to use more common or popular choices of frameworks? And the answer is none of this is not established. In fact, it's opposite. Web components are built into browser, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML as well. And this is what I do also, let's say 30% of my time. We focus on frontend, and we are basically deleting frameworks. And why that? Because larger companies are no more willing, or if they know this possible, they don't like, to spend time migrating frameworks back and forth, or even migrating from one version to another. Okay, so this was the last slide. So thank you for watching. Now what I would like to do is to start the project. So I have one script web standard project. Trust me, this is just copy of 3 files and Drive-in Conf, right? Or Drive-in. Let's do Drive-in. And this should open. Okay, it works. It should open the Chrome and Visual Studio Code. And where is my Visual Studio Code? Is here. So this is my setup is now complete. And what I'm using here is the following. So like very short rundown. So obviously without Drive-in would be no setup. So you need Drive-in conference. But I use Visual Studio Code just vanilla. I think I have one syntax highlighter for lit HTML, but that's basically it. So I can download it. It's like 15 or 20 megs and you have it. I use browser sync, and what browser sync is, you will see in a second, it just watches files, watches for changes, and pushes the changes to the browser and reloads the browser. It is absolutely optional, but very good for productivity. Then what I also will not use today, I use it in larger project is Redux. We don't have time to talk about that, but we can follow up in whatever conference you have. And I use Snowpack. And what Snowpack is, it is a modern build tool which is only needed once every few weeks. What it does is, if we have any external dependencies, it translates these dependencies to standard JavaScript modules. So it's like, integrator tool. And this is not even has to be installed on developer machines. It can run on Jenkins, for instance. And I would like to use lit HTML. Today, it is actually, or for today's session, it wouldn't be necessary, but in all my projects, we're using this. This is like not a framework, it's more like a library, which is optional. Comes with, 400 lines of code, JavaScript code, documented code, so it's tiny actually. And if it dies, there are alternatives out there. And of course, web components, this is what we are going to use, part of every browser. And if you're interested, there's an online course about that. And this is apps with web components, Redux, and lit HTML. Then web components, if you have them, who uses web components? Well, there is an ING bank, the Lion web components. There are the Lion's web components. The interesting part is they don't look great. Then they look great because they are already vanilla. So there is no styling involved. So you can style whatever you like the components. So there's another set of components is there are this Salesforce Lightning web components. They are also built on web components. And I forgot to open that SAP UI5 web components. Web components. This is our web components from SAP. And if you take a look at that, and then they are actually great. So what I use all the time, or what I like to use is, for instance, the date picker. Nice one because of the keyboard bindings, and the only thing you have to do is to add this tag, and it works. And also forgot, you see how live it is. It is a Vaadin web components. This is a great set of web components without the Java backend. So if you take a look at the Vaadin, no, it's not that. Vaadin Elements, I think is the name. Vaadin Elements web components. Yes, this is what I search for. And the Vaadin web components, they look great and they come pre-packaged out of the box. So this is actually, if you know Vaadin from your Java time, there are exactly the same components without the Java backend. So you can just use it in the front end. And the also nice single component from Vaadin is called Vaadin router. Vaadin router. We won't use the router today because there is no time. But if you need routing, this component is great. It's also a small JavaScript class. That's basically it. And you get routing for free, so it can route between states. So this is the material, and now use it. Okay, so, and Dimitri, if you have any questions left, they're in chat. A few questions.
Yes. Absolutely. There is a question, already a question. How does the browser know which component to use when you only add a custom tag? Yeah, this is the question.
Wait a second. The question is,
yes.
how the browser knows which component to use when you only add a custom tag. Yeah. Because the component has to be loaded and registered. And the question you will see in a second, let's do this. So what we like, of course, do today is to develop a drive-in component. Oh, the question is, the documentation part of that, how to find the documentation. Dev.docs.io, for instance. These are great. It's like Java doc. And if you have, for instance, would like to know, let's say, HTML element, which I will use in a second, you can search for that and you will find this here. And this is the inheritance hierarchy of the DOM, very similar to AWT or Swing. So if I'm interested in functionality here, I get this. So this is actually nice. And the cool story is with that, it is available offline. So I can actually download this and then it will be pre-cached in the browser. I did it if I had to fly 1 year ago. I just loaded everything to my browser and then it worked without internet. So it's very fast and it reminds me on JavaDoc. Okay, so now how the browser knows. Class drive-in. Drive-in extends or drive-in, or just do hello is better. It's more realistic. Hello extends HTML element, and the HTML element. So and now it comes custom elements define, and what I have to do is I have to give the component a name, and the name would be drive-in di hello. There has to be a dash between, and then I have to register the component with the class. And this custom elements is a browser API available everywhere. And so what it means is, if I search now, we don't need the slides anymore. Overrated. So if I have custom elements, for instance, window custom elements, you see this is a browser registry and we can use it like this, what I actually did. So now we have that. So, and then it's if you would read the specification of web components or specification, the tutorial from DevDocs, you will find there is something called connected callback. And this connected callback is like in Java, is like post construct. Exactly the same functionality. So, and what I can do here, I can say this HTML inner HTML. So why to know that? Because if I would look at devdocs.io, I would see that this actually is this inner HTML, okay? And then say, what I would like to do is I would like to have a, let's say, a button. And a button drive in. So, and I think it should work. So now I have di hello, drive in hello. So what I could do is I can say di hello and use that here. So, and as you can see, button drive in and it works. So this is how it knows, because I have to register the component. So if I just not register the component, there will be no drive in. And what will happen is the browser will render this thing as a div. So if we take a look at the div hello, it is still there. And I could actually use it, but it would be not functional. So, so you see here, there will be 3 dots. And if I reactivate this again, then there is a drive in. But now, okay, this is nice, and it would work. This has security implications, so no time to explain that. Forget about that. So how to mitigate the problems here. And what I would like to do is to switch to the source folder. And here I have a lit.html prepared script. And what this lit.html does, it just copies a lit.html JS here. How I created the thing, if you have time, I will show you how to do this. It's very simple. You will use Snowpack. com.linux says thanks, but this applies to only your own components, which means I have to add an import for Vaadin.js for the date picker to work right. Yes, com.linux, you're exactly right. You will have to import an external component to make it work. Very good. So lit.html. How I created the lit.html. So I actually can show you this because from scratch, because I think we will have time. So how I created the lit.html, what I did is, what I usually do, I create a folder called dependencies. Then in the dependencies folder, I say npm init and do it. Then I have this, and then I can say npm install lit.html, and it installs the lit.html. So the recent version is 1.3.0, which I used. So now I have it in node modules. And then what I need is I have to run Snowpack, which has to be installed. And then a small thing is the following. I will need an index.js and tell the index that I would like to use. Wait a second. The lit.html. So where is it? Lit.html is here, and get started somewhere. Get started. I need the imports. And the imports, the origin imports are this. So what I need is I need that. So okay, so let's do this. So I need to tell I need both, and then watch this. So if I say npx snowpack, it will take a while because the snowpack has to be downloaded as well, but it only takes once. And as I said, it usually happens on Jenkins, not even on my machine. This is like because I would like to show you everything. I'll show you all the parts. And now you see lit.html was created, and this is like 12K in web modules. And this web modules contains now lit.html and import JSON, and this is exactly what I did in here. So lit.html and JSON was converted. So if you take a look on this, this is one dependency with lots of JavaScript, and at the end it exports lit.html. Where is it? Somewhere it exports lit.html. Oh, sorry, HTML and render. There is a render in lit.html. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to activate now modules. So what are JavaScript modules? You can write, you can read a book about that or think about modules like Java packages. Done. So now with type equals module, I can do the following. I can say, okay, cool. Now I can use imports. So what I can do in my app.js, I can say, now instead of doing this, I can say HTML and import that HTML. And this is a crazy import. So I will have to do the import statement, which says I would like to import that from lit.html. And what? HTML and render, both. And now, as you can see, it's this object. So what I get back is no more a string, it's an object. So what it actually is a template, high performant one, template. And I have to say, okay, render. So I use this function then. And I would like to render the template to myself. So template to myself, and I am this. So now we have the same story with lit.html, and the cool story is now, what I can do is I can create a method called drive-in. Drive-in, it's time, right? So drive-in, and this will just say console log. Sure. So, and now I can go here and say, okay, click. This is a little bit syntactic sugar, which uses standard web events, DOM events, web events or DOM events. And here I would say, now Java Lambda kicks in. I can say, just a fat arrow. In Java, we would use the thin arrow. And I would like to call this drive-in. So the major difference in Java and JavaScript, always use this in JavaScript. So, and if I just switch to here and click here, you see it is working. And what even we have in JavaScript is new date. So now dependency. The Java guru from the chat asked me a very good question. So this will be a dependency, or Snowpack will contain all depths. So Snowpack can, what Snowpack can do, it can import all the external dependencies. It can even find commonalities between the dependencies and create a chunk, which is common. So it will, for instance, if I'm using lit.html and SAP uses lit.html, it will extract the lit.html in a common chunk module. And so you will get a couple of single files on one single file if you like. So it depends on you. I would prefer several files because one file is larger to maintain. Okay, nice. But this was a good question actually from Guru, and he's a nice guy. So let's try to make SAP work. So where is the date picker? Here. So his question was, what happens if I just copy this? And so if I copy this here, you will see pick me. So pick the date. Pick the date. You see it actually doesn't work, right? Because the browser does not know anything about UI5. So I use UI5 a lot, so I have similar script which was created similarly to the previous one. If I say here UI5, it will copy here the date picker from SAP. So exactly what Snowpack did. I will have to import, now watch this, just load the date picker. And I have it, and this is because I don't have the translations. So this is a warning, so you don't have translations for whatever. So, and now it is working. So this is actually what have to happen is to make it work. So this is, and still I don't have here anything. And the next question is, of course, how to make it in practice. And what we do is actually we have on Jenkins, we know which dependencies we are needing. There's not a lot, so we need sometimes date pickers, then Redux, lit.html, then Moment.js or similar, D3.js or similar, and Bulma for CSS. So we have probably 10 dependencies. We make it work. We build it on Jenkins, and now it's the cool story. We have one or a few JavaScript files, and we put them on a central web server, so you can download them. And the cool story is because the link doesn't change, the browser can cache this, which is very good for performance. Because if you're building multiple components and all the components are using the same dependency, you can save a lot of performance and bandwidth because you don't have to ship over and over again the same stuff. And now we are almost in micro front-end discussion, but it works naturally. And this, what I showed you right now, is not a different what I usually use. I stolen all the ideas from Jakarta and microprofile and applied it to the web, and developers like that. Okay, cool. So we have that. Thank you for the questions. So the Drive-in is really nice audience, right? Lots of questions, very interactive. So now we have it, and the question is, but I would like, for instance, because you already see this, I would like, really to receive events, what happens here. And so how to do that? I actually don't care a lot, because what I know is that all web components have to emit a specific event. And let's take a look here, and you see here they use the change event here at event listener change event. So okay, this is change event, and what I already know is that in the change event there has to be a detail which contains the payload. So let's see this. What I could do, I say okay, instead of using this, I only have to know change event is interesting. What I'm talking about are custom events. So the components are sending custom events, and I can receive them. So I'm interested in change, and say, like here, change, exactly. And then now I would like to have the event and say date change, unfortunately. So the Drive-in conference will happen next year. So like this, and then I need date changed with the event. With the event. And by the way, to see whether it works, what I could do, I could say here, but I have to open the developer tools. I could say here, I would like to have the debugger active, debugger, And now if I change this, I hope it will call that exactly. So you see the debugger here, and you see this is a custom event. Okay. Okay, but this is so instead of that, I would like to do console log and debug this, and then let's see what it happens. As you can see, this is UI5 date picker event, and it has to contain detail because the detail is this what was specified by web components. So I say, okay, what I can do is destructuring. I say I'm only interested in the detail. So what this does, this is not possible in Java yet. This extracts from the, let's say, JavaScript objects are just hash maps, and it extracts from the hash map the key detail and with the value of the detail, right? So let's see. If you don't like the date picker, you have to complain to Guru because it was his idea how to integrate components, so we changed the course. But as you can see, value, so we can say, okay, this is interesting. I can even go further and say, I would like to see the value, and then just the value, and then just the value. So so you just see the value, right? So if I just navigate here, 1st September, and of course the Drive-in Conf is at September the 30th. So now we can actually provide the value. So we have a few minutes left. So what I would like to do is to create a, let's say, DTO JSON, because everyone loves DTOs, right? So this is just a joke. Don't use DTOs in practice. But in Java, everyone knows what DTO is. And some even believe it's a best practice. So let's say this is like title or Drive-in Conf with Jack. So this is like, and I would like to load that from server. So how to do this? So fairly simple in JavaScript. You don't have any external libraries. Actually, you don't need any external libraries for anything except you need something for your CV. So like have 30 years of experience with Angular or something like this, but it's not needed in practice. So I have that. So what I can do is I can say now load DTO from server. So and this the cool story is this load DTO from server can be async, which is very similar to in microprofile asynchronous. And this asynchronous is a future, and the promise in JavaScript is very, very similar to future. So now I can say I would like to fetch my DTO. Why I can do this? Because this browser sync is a server at the same time, web server, so I can misuse it. Usually, will this be loaded from the backend? So I can say I'm interested in the DTO.json, and there is a wait, and what I get back is the response, and then with the response I can say I would like the stuff as JSON, and then I can still, let's say this is the payload, and I have to wait for it. And now I can say I'm only interested in the title, destructuring again with the title, and the title is extracted from the payload. And now let's see whether it works. And now I can use the backticks, which is like multi-line string in Java 15, except in JavaScript, Java 15 does not support interpolation. So what I can do is I can say here in JavaScript, I would like to add the title, and here just say nice title. Okay, now let's say I would need another button, and the button is change date or load from server something, and this would be load DTO from server. And if I click the button, you see nice Drive-in Conf with Java User Group Bulgaria. I think we are almost over time. So the questions to you, are there any questions left? So Dimitri, what do you think? So I think I answered all.
Yes, you answered all the questions, but I just personally, as a JSF guy, I'm from this age of JSFs. Uh, is there a good integration between, or an example of good integration between Java world and JavaScript world? which automates most of this stuff, like it was in JSF times. Maybe you have examples for that?
I would say what I showed you is hello world. What will happen? You won't have hello. What you will have components like menu, view, footer, and then navigation, right? So you will build your own. This is very similar like JSF, no, on the front end. What I showed you, all technologies at once. So it will actually look like JSF without JSF, and it will render it at the front end. And exactly. So JSF is still a thing. So we use, even at startups, still JSF for backend stuff. So back office, like, CRUD. And this is more like you can do pixel perfect with integration with whatever you like, even with AR. There is a 3JS and Frame which supports AR.
Okay.
Right. So for it is not that far away from JSF, and the Java integration is REST. You will call a Java API and get the JSON back. Right.
Okay.
So it's not
so
server
we'll just
side.
do it with the rest. Yes. The other thing is
Yeah.
microprofile.
You could use microprofile as a backend, what you usually use, Quarkus right now, and Quarkus has great integration because you can just say course through, which is necessary, and this is already set up. So most backends, we use microprofile, Jakarta and Quarkus, and frontend looks like that. So this is all, you saw the frontend part of my project. And what we usually do, we don't inherit from HTML element, we inherit from Airhex element, Drive-in element, or whatever. It's like 100 lines of code abstract class, which has a little bit of logging, integration with Redux, and so forth. So 2 questions. Someone asked me, what if you need an API key to call the backend third-party call, where to store it? There is a huge discussion. What is better, cookie or local storage? If you search for where to store credentials, no one will win. So both are, just read some articles and decide. So there is no best practice. Okay, cool. I think we have to end this discussion,
Yes.
at least officially. So thank you for the invitation. Enjoy your car at the conference, right? And I really liked the experience with my small community, and hopefully you will also enjoy the conference in Sofia, right? It's in Sofia? Yeah, it is Sofia,
Exactly.
Bulgaria, and the September the 30th. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's been an awesome pleasure and honor to have you at this conference. Thank you.